Hey guys, it's Holly. So today I wanted to talk about the Star Wars set that I was most looking forward to with the summer 2022 wave, and that is Obi Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. So this is set 75333 and retails for $30 US or 50 Australian, and I don't know what it was about this. I feel like it was just because, you know, it was such a well done sort of like small ship, not to mention the minifigure selection, that just made me really excited. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was going to be one of my absolute favorites, so it was definitely the first one I had to go and run and pick up. Now, while a Jedi Starfighter isn't something that we haven't seen before, one thing that we haven't seen before and is brand new for this set is the Kaminoan in the form of Ton Wee. So let's go and have a look at this set up close. Here's Obi Wan Starfighter, and this by far I think has to be one of my favorite sets out of the LEGO Star Wars Summer 2022 wave. Admittedly, I have not built all of them, I do not own all of them, but this is an absolute killer for its new and definitely inflated price point. But before we have a look at the ship, let's have a look at the minifigures. So first up is Obi Wan Kenobi in these brand new sort of reddish brown robes, which does mean that we get a brand new version of the reddish brown hood piece. And honestly, this minifigure is one of very few problems I think I have with this set. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of the printed robes. To me, they just don't really look as good. Like, I would have much preferred a brown cape. However, that being said, not having the cape makes it really easy for him to get in and out of the ship. So in this set, I don't necessarily mind too much. Obi-Wan has also got a brand new headpiece, one with a nice printed scruffy beard, which is a lot better and a lot different to those older sort of episode 2 style heads. He also has an alternate head that does have that sort of comm system on it, which I think is really neat. And luckily as well, you do get an alternate hairpiece to swap it out in case he does actually put his robe down. Next up is Ton Wee, and oh my gosh, does this Kaminoan look super cool. Part of me deep down still kind of wishes it was that fake mini doll sort of photo that happened a couple of months ago. I feel like mini dolls would have worked really well for the Kaminoans. It would have given them that additional height, or even if we had like a newer, taller sloped dress piece and the woody arms that have recently been brought back with the Avatar sets, I feel like that would have just made this figure even better. But for what it is, I absolutely love the way the Kaminoans turned out. There is so much detail, there is double skirt printing, there is back and front printing, and of course the specially molded head, which looks fantastic. I really hope that we can get some more of these in the future. And last but not least, we have R4, which looks really, really good from the front. Amazing torso printing, great head printing, except there's no back printing, which is kind of a shame, honestly, considering the R2-D2 in the trash compactor, as well as Training on Dagobah, did have that back printing. I feel like that would have just made this so much better, but for what he is, he looks great. So now let's take a look at the Starfighter on its own, and overall, I think this design is incredibly clean. The only real problem I have with the design of this ship, to be honest, is the gaps here. I feel like these days, maybe that could have been a little bit more streamlined, but overall, I don't think it's all too noticeable as long as it's sort of in a flight pose on a stand. When you sort of place it like this as well, as long as you're not looking from the top down, again, you can't really notice. Besides that, I personally didn't have any problems with the stickers, which there are quite a few of them. There's not too many small ones, besides some of these ones on the tail fin here and one on either side of the wing. The overall design of the ship as well is very basic. Both of the wings are connected using these sort of axle joints here that you can slide on and off if you really wanted to, and each of these are built sort of a mirror of each other, so it's nothing too exciting there in the build process. One thing I really like about this ship though is that you can actually stand it up on its own. There is this whole sort of landing feature where you can fold this entire foot down and fold it up if you really wanted to, just to make it a little bit more streamlined, or even just remove it altogether. Like, it's only 2 pieces. It's really simple, but it allows the ship to stand up on its own, which I really like. Another great feature is there are 2 clips on the bottom, so you can put Obi-Wan's lightsaber hidden under here for when he's in flight mode, which is fantastic. You can also have a better look at sort of the boosters on the bottom of the ship, and then the rest of the front is very flat. It's mainly just made up of a bunch of plates and tiles, but overall I think works really well. The center cockpit here is a tiny bit raised and elevated, I feel like, for the actual design of the ship, but in Lego form I think it's still very cohesive, that personally I don't really mind. And more so, you can actually pop this off and stick R4's body in there so that when you attach his head to the spinning disc, which we'll get to later, the entire figure can fit inside the ship and you don't have to worry, which is a really big thing, and I would much prefer that sort of than to a flatter looking sort of curve here. One other thing that I'm not a huge fan of on this ship though are the use of the new stud shooters. Personally, I think the design of these is kind of chunky, then again, so was the previous design. This is something that I might just swap out or, you know, take off entirely by getting rid of those slope pieces, maybe rearrange them onto here, but luckily it's something very simple and very easy to fix. Heading on over to the other side, there is a tiny little satellite dish on this wing, and like I said, you can actually stick R4's head in here on this spinning disc. Personally, the spinning disc I'm not 100% sure how I feel about, considering his head sort of rotates around a little bit. I would much rather, I think, just have it sort of be still. But again, it's one of those pieces where it's just literally one piece. You can swap it out, you can change it if you want, but I don't think it's overall too bad. That's really just a small personal preference that I have. Then once his head is attached on here, like I said, the body is really simple. You can just slide it on in there, and that sort of center stud piece on the bottom of the astromech droids sits on that jumper plate on the inside. Moving on to the back design, there is a lot of sort of snot methods in order to make up this cockpit, which really uses quite minimal pieces, which is really impressive. The tail all comes together at a really nice peak using these tiles, and then it's all topped off with this little bubble where you can stick Kenobi on the inside. You can sit him in there, you just need to keep his arms up, and this is really where I guess like the benefit of his minifigure design not having a cape comes in, because there's really no reason that he can't get in or out super easily. You don't have to worry about a cape flapping around, even though there is a little bit of additional space on the side there. So once he sits in there, you can really see that it's just a very clean ship design overall. The only thing that really doesn't attach to the ship besides Ton Wee is sort of the extra for Kenobi. If you have his hood on, I mean, his hood will fit in there, but his hood doesn't really have anywhere to go inside of this model besides, I guess, like the back of the cockpit. You can't really fit it in here, neither with his hair if you had that on. So that's a little bit disappointing considering how well everything else was integrated into the model. But overall, I don't think that's too big, I guess, of a little con about this set in order for you to completely pass this one up. Overall, Obi Wan Starfighter is amazing. I love the LEGO Star Wars sort of smaller set range, and this one is absolutely no exception. There are a couple little minor issues here and there with this set, but overall, I think it's really well done. I mean, this design really isn't anything special. This is something very similar to what we've seen before, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. The minifigures are really a huge draw, and by minifigures, I mean Ton Wee itself, and for this price point, you really can't go wrong. I highly recommend you picking up this set. But let me know what you think about this set, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing down below, and if you do plan on picking it up, I will leave links to order in the description down below. Until next time guys, I'll see you later.